724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, MD.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to AM Impact on Your Health. AM Impact on Your Health, for every day our goal is to have you learn at least one thing to help you live better and longer. AM Impact on Your Health, heard each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney, and I'm with you each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9. AM Impact on Your Health, where each day you'll find current medical news, knowledgeable guests, fascinating health topics, and of course, where we do encourage you to call in to join in. Folks, I've been away for a while. Conferences, treatment conferences, we'll be talking a little bit about them today. I have to salute a couple of folks and bring you up to speed on what all my activities have been over this last, 3 different shows we didn't do live. We had repeat shows. I hope you enjoyed them. I know we brought Cass Ingram to you and allowed you to go over. You always do enjoy Cass, and I always do enjoy bringing him to you. And then, of course, we repeated the Dr. David Brownstein discussion on the thyroid dysfunction. I'm back now, and things are live, and we're going to open them up to you today. This is a get 'em up, out-of-town version of the show, as it really should be. And, of course, is the beginning of the 4th of July weekend, and all of you will be hopefully pursuing your plans, and hope you're going to have a lovely 4th of July weekend. We'll send you off in good fashion to enjoy that weekend by letting you vent. Get it off your chest today. Things have been building up. You haven't had a chance to give us a call to let us know what has been on your mind, and I know how upsetting that can be. Certainly can be symptom-provoking even. That being the case, the number to give us a call today is 412-825-6262. That's 412-825-6262. I'll give that number throughout the hour. The way it works around here is you have a question, you have a comment, you dial that number up, I hear your knock at the door, and I'll come and run and answer that door and let you come on in the store, and, well, then you can vent and get it off your chest. If it's a question and I don't know the answer, by the way, happens frequently around here, my listeners usually do. And so they're out there and they got their little computers going. And one way or another, you probably will get a solution to your query before the hour is up. That's 412-825-6262. Now let's take a look at the schedule and how it goes from here. Folks, we have turned the page today. Today is the 1st of July in 2011. And yes, you are going into a 4th of July weekend. Now, upon your return, we come back on Wednesday. Of course, Tuesday is the first day back to work for everybody, Monday being the holiday. But on Wednesday, yes, she'll be here, Dr. Vavavoom herself, Susan Smith-Jones, wanted to talk about, she's always mentioning Grandma, and was the lady who had the greatest influence on her with respect to the health acumen that she's developed and the interest that she pursues even to this very day. Natural remedies coming from Grandma and others she's accumulated over these many years. By the way, I never asked her age, but the pictures are, well, you want to take up whatever she's doing. You want to do some of that. Then on Friday, we finally bring Dr. David Brownstein with us. He is going to be here to talk about one of his other books. He has many, We've pretty much explored the issue of thyroid thanks to Dr. Brownstein, but we return with a topic. It's a controversial topic, or at least the conventional medical community has caused a great deal of fervor in the issue of salt intake. I mean, they have spooked everybody into thinking that salt is the worst thing you could ever do. Don't consume, so cut your salt, reduce your salt, lower your salt. Well, how about this for a title, folks? David Brownstein's book, Salt, Your Way to Health. You think that's possible? Stick with us for the ride next week on Friday when David Brownstein returns. Then on the 11th, the following Monday, Dr. Lee Weller is going to be with us. Many of you suffer with weight loss issues and that yo-yo effect where you lose it and then you come right back and you gain it. And those who have weight issues are battling this constant up and down. Well, Dr. Well is supposed to help us in being able to sustain a weight loss. He's got some great hints, and he'll be with us on the 11th. Then on the 13th, don't forget, we're launching a new product here, as we usually do with a gentleman, Alan Ridgway. This product, for those of you who have muscular and joint aches and pains, arthritic or otherwise, and especially you're using some sort of a topical application to get relief, there is a product out there called BioFreeze, I understand, and it is very popular, and it does provide some relief. However, there's a new product, I think, that can replace it, or at least work equally as well, called Simply Freeze. We're going to be launching the product. We don't have the product yet, folks. A couple people have already called up asking to purchase some. We're going to launch it on the 13th. We'll have the product then, and we'll get with you. And if you have a mind to want to try this stuff, especially knowing that the price is so much more gentle on the pocketbook, I'm told it works as well as that BioFreeze stuff. So that'll be the 13th. The rest of the month, well, as it fills in, I'll let you know. Now, hey, we do have a knock on the door. Come on the store. Hello. Welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Hi.
My question concerns my husband.
All right.
He had a mild heart attack this week. They're calling it an angina, I guess an angina episode. They put in 2 stents. In '98, he had 5 bypasses, and then has had 7 or 8 stents since then, I guess counting these 2 this week. He has 2 areas that are 100% blocked in there. They can't do another bypass. I'm bringing him home today. My question concerns the EECP. He did that about 3 years ago with you, and I'm thinking that might help him now.
Oh, Barb, I certainly know the voice. I know the voice, and I know the patient, and good Lord, I'm so sorry to hear that he had an episode, but you're describing it as an angina event, not...
That's what they said.
Okay.
When I took him into the ER, they said it was a mild heart attack, and then when the cardiologist did the cath, said something about angina episodes. I think that was the word he used.
Well, you know, be quite a difference between one or the other. With angina, there was no damage. With an event, there is always additional damage. So let's just say this much. No matter which one that this may have been, once, if it's angina, no, it doesn't matter. If it's angina alone, he's going to be able to pursue any of the therapies that he wants to immediately, and I'm going to suggest ECP to be up there on top of your list. If he's had an event, he'll have to wait about 6 weeks, but then he should jump into this ECP once again, Barb. So it is the only thing left. With as many stents as he's had, and the bypasses that he's had, the procedures, at least, maybe even almost as a blessing, are now over, Barb. There are no more.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
That's right.
He said if he has one more thing, they don't guarantee that they can get in there and
that's right.
Anything.
So what has to be done is that he has to develop a very intricate collateral circulation, because the occlusions that are happening in his main coronary arteries are so extensive that very little blood is able to get through them. But there's always the ability, always, to get sort of circuitous routes around the current obstructions and provide as much blood to all the areas of the heart that you would have if the arteries were wide open. And the only procedure that I know that can do that is ECP. So you're well to think of it. May have been a couple of years, and I do remember when he was here doing the ECP. It's time to come back and do it again. And I hope he had anginal events and can do this sooner. But if he has not, let's move toward about the 6 weeks. That's about the amount of time they're going to have to say that he has to be treated gingerly. So you'll know when he gets discharged. You say you're picking him up today, huh?
Yes.
You'll know when he gets discharged which one of the categories he's in, because if he truly had an event, they will be quite cautious about what he's allowed to do over the next six weeks. And if he's had angina issues and not an event, then he'll be put on nitro and be told to take it around the clock as he may need it. But one way or the other, let's hook up again in the very near future, or maybe mid-distant future, to pursue this ECP once again. He's got to develop collateral circulation well enough to perfuse all the areas of heart, and he's just got so many occlusions now that the main highways are pretty much blocked up, Barb.
Yeah, and his ejection fraction factor is 45%.
Oh, then that is great news, because that really is indicative of this being an anginal event and not a myocardial infarction, because usually after infarcts, especially immediately after them, the ejection fractions drop tremendously. Yeah, that is a very good, yeah.
I'm sorry, we're supposed to take a trip on the 21st of this month. Do you think they'll let us travel?
If he's had angina, yes. If he's had an event, no. That's another way you're going to be able to find out for sure what was going on here. But ask specifically, did my husband have an infarction, or did he have an anginal event only? That's an easy enough question to answer by any of the doctors who take care of him, because the diagnosis of the infarct is based on an elevation of an enzyme called CPK-MB. So you asked the nurses, what were my husband's CPK-MB levels? And by those levels, it's quite obvious whether or not there was a heart attack or there was not. Okay?
Okay, I'm sure you'll be seeing me soon.
I'm sure, Barb. Take care, and we want you to go on that trip. I hope all works out well, and I hope you can do it.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Curtin.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, folks. You can tell the voice and know the patient very well. All right. Let's do this. I got some things to announce. Well, let's do this. We'll take a short break. When we come back, got to say hi to all the new folks I met out there in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm just back from Phoenix. By the way, folks, 118 degrees? 118? At midnight? 102? What the heck is going on out there? Be back in a moment. I won't continue that.
This is Dennis J. Courtney, MD. Have you become confused about how best to manage your health? It's no wonder. It seems that every time you turn on the television or radio, another expert has yet another suggestion for you to follow that seems to be reasonable enough, but no matter how dutifully you follow the instruction, it just doesn't quite produce the result that you are looking for. If this confusion sounds familiar to you, give us a call at the Center for Complementary Health, where we'll make some sense of the confusion based on a blending of traditional and alternative medicine that we've been perfecting over the last 7 years. We offer metabolic nutrition testing, immune system repair, natural hormone replacement therapy, chelation therapy, cutting-edge allergy correction, and a host of other safe and effective alternative therapies.
Dennis J. Courtney, MD, is located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray. Phone 724-942-3002.
Have you been to the doctor lately? Was fatigue top of your complaint list? Even if your doctor asks you what you eat, the recommended 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day is a dream in your busy schedule. What if you learned of a product 5 years in the formulation that delivers 5 servings of fruits and minerals in just 1 ounce? That's right, it's Fruit of the Spirit. The blessings of Fruit of the Spirit are now formulated into a delicious whole fruit puree product rich in antioxidants and minerals. Your health is more than just a test result. It's a balance of physical, spiritual, and emotional factors. You work regularly to strengthen your faith, but Fruit of the Spirit help cover your nutritional needs in a convenient and cost-effective ounce a day. Call 1-800-442-3793 for a special promotional offer. Fruit of the Spirit, a blessing for your good health. Fruit of the Spirit, 5 servings of fruits and minerals with no added sugars. That's 1-800-442-3793 for your good health. Call them now, 1-800-442-3793.
Hey, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back once again to AM Impact on Your Health. Heard here in KHB 620 each and every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 9 o'clock. I'm Dr. Dennis Courtney with you today on this first day of July. We have turned the page. We are in a new month and a fast-paced show today with a very interesting weekend coming up. I hope your 4th of July weekend holds in store for you wonderful times with family and friends and so forth. I'm planning to have a pretty good one myself. We're going to hook up back here on the 6th of July with Dr. Susan Smith-Jones, and at that point, things will come back to normal once again. I want to say a special hello out there to new listeners. Just got back from Phoenix. I spent some time out there with Dr. Edward Condrat. We know Dr. Condrat very well. He's a frequent guest on this show, a Pittsburgh born and raised guy, and an ophthalmologist extraordinaire. His claim to fame, of course, is that I think he does claim he's the only homeopathic ophthalmologist in the world. So that's a pretty unique combination. Anyway, you know him because he keeps on coming back to Pittsburgh to do these eye treatment seminars. Every time he does, we usually bring him on the show to let you Pittsburghers know of his arrival and allow you to be able to participate if you have eye issues that just are not responding to conventional medical treatment. Well, besides doing them here in Pittsburgh, and by the way, the next one in Pittsburgh will be in the month of January. I thought it was scheduled for December, and actually I guess it was, but this has been slid a little bit. It's going to be held in January, and talking to Dr. Condrat, the venue is going to be up at Seven Springs. So if you have any inclinations to want to be exposed to nature and a pretty fun place that is in the month of January, that's where the conference is going to be then, and much more about that as that date approaches. Anyway, this past, which would have been on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Dr. Condrat had one of his treatment seminars in his office in Phoenix, Arizona. He invited me out there to participate, once again helping out with doing all the IV infusions as well as trying to take over and assisting these patients with eye issues with all the other various body areas that require some attention too, because obviously eye just being one component of a pretty sophisticated group of machinery. Anyway, with that being said, we should have new listeners today. I know you're out there, folks. I know you promised you'd be listening via the internet. I hope we're coming through loud and clear. If in fact you're hearing this on a delayed way of listening to the show, meaning you went to the archives, a special hello to you too, and hopefully you will be continuous listeners well into the future. I will be waiting to hear from you as I receive your laboratory information from your heavy metals provocation test. And enough said about the good folks we met in Phoenix. By the way, that thing was 118 degrees. You get off the airplane, and it was 9 in the morning, and it was 113. It went to 118, folks. And how about that thing at midnight? It's 102. They claim that this is like their winter, meaning that people flee from Phoenix because June, July, August, they just get pelted. They say at 118, no big deal. It's when they get to some reason, 126 is the one that scares them. 118 is no big deal, but the 126 does actually, everybody runs for the hills at that point. Another interesting thing, I guess I'll mention, visited establishment out there called Harold's. And if you're from Phoenix, if you know anything about Phoenix, Harold's is sort of, right on the front sign to the establishment is a big banner that says Steeler Country, Heinz Field West. And so this is a bar. It's a restaurant/bar that evidently, I saw the setup for the Super Bowl 2 years ago, tents outside everywhere. All Pittsburghers who have moved to Phoenix and those other fans that have been accumulated by virtue of just wanting to be associated with Pittsburgh have a fine place to go at Harold's. I tip my hat, by the way, the owner of Harold's, hails from Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and didn't have a chance to meet him because he wasn't there that day, but I had a grand discussion with all the waitressing staff. So hats off to Phoenix. Hello, new listeners, and I will return. I hope to be able to do it in a little better situation with your weather. Now, another thing. In the interim, those days that I was off, went to another conference. This conference, Body Bio. Body Bio, you might not know the name of the company, but you certainly do know some of the players of that company. In particular, one very brilliant scientist, doctor in biochemistry, Patricia Kane. This is Patricia Kane's conference, first conference in many years now. I'm going to say 3 or 4, but I bring to you, how am I going to put this? The first thing I bring to you, and I will clarify it, as you know, I have been a big one when it has come to testing. I have had many shows on what we call the 9. Remember when there used to be 8? There were 8 tests that you have to ask your doctor to order in order to find out your inflammation risk factors. Remember this? And I read people on the street, and they can recite, and they can tell me all 8 of those tests. Last year, we added a 9th, and that 9th one was, remember, the LDL particle size, which is now part and parcel. Every patient that we evaluate here in my office, we get all 9 tests. We'll get a load of this. There's now a 10th. There is a 10th test. Starting tomorrow, we will be getting that test. Medical science has come up with it. I didn't invent any of them. I really don't have the acumen for that. Medical science invents these, and by virtue of them placing the importance on them that they do, and realizing they play a role in cardiovascular disease, we have always gotten every single test that could help out in that regard. Don't forget now, the conventional medical doctors, when the list is at 9, have only ever ordered one of those tests anyway. It's the lipid profile, and that's that cholesterol story. The cholesterol, the triglyceride, the HDL, and the LDL. This is the big lab test of your doctor visit each and every time you go. Your doctor runs roughshod over it, but ignores the other 8 tests. Now, I don't know if he's going to be able to ignore the 10th, but nonetheless, I'm going to let you know that medical science has come up with this test, and it is rated high and potentially the most important of all 10. Now, that's an interesting thing to learn. What is this new lab test? By the way, they tell me it's freely available in all of the laboratory assessment venues, such as Quest and such as LabCorp, but here it goes. It's going to be TMAO. Actually, another way of saying it is TMANO, to get that right. TMANO. T-M-A-N-O. That's trimethylamine nitrogen oxide. You better remember the TMAO, and more specifically TMANO. The TMAO is fine. It is a new lab test. It is the 10th test. Now, what is this stuff? Well, get a load of this. As it turned out, finally, and it almost, you sort of knew it had to play a role. It's called, so what is called the second brain. You remember about the first brain. What's the second brain? Given high prominence in the realm, especially the alternative realm. The second brain is the gut, mouth to anus. This is a structure that plays a role in every single disease. If you figure that nutrient deficiencies have to be corrected via that route, and toxicities usually have to be removed via that route. So what about the gut? Well, as it turns out, and here we go, finally, a gut issue that will have to be dealt with by all doctors in order to correct TMAO. TMAO is a product produced by inappropriate bacterial flora. This is a byproduct of the wrong bugs who colonize the colon, and by virtue of them interacting and causing metabolic reactions in the gut, they release this substance called TMAO, which gains entrance into the bloodstream, which is highly inflammatory, highly irritating. It has been mentioned in the literature that I read about this past week as superseding the harmful effects of homocysteine or lipoprotein A or C-reactive protein or ferritin or any of them. This is a biggie. It's brand new. And guess who came up with it? They won't be able to blame the alternative doctors for this one. No lesser an institution than the Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Stephen Hastings. I don't know the gentleman. Evidently, he's the head of a big division up there at the Cleveland Clinic. And those of you who know anything about the conventional realm, when Cleveland Clinic speaks, everybody listens. So this is the hottest research. It's the newest information. It is the 10th blood test. So now, from this point forward, I have to be talking about the 10 blood tests that you're going to have ordered in order to get a correct assessment of your cardiovascular risk factors. And the name of it, TMAO. Don't remember it, but just know what it means. Trimethylamine oxide. Easily obtained. It's a blood test. If it comes back elevated, what do you got to do? You got to go fix the gut. There's nothing to get rid of TMAO. You have to quit producing the TMAO. And so, how about this? How about a bowel cleanse to help cardiovascular patients? How about a probiotic? By the way, the component parts of what should be in that probiotic is not acidophilus and bifidus. So we'll be talking about this more and more as time moves on about what the probiotic is going to need to contain in order to correct the bacterial flora issue and prevent the production of TMAO. Again, much more about this as time moves on. Thought I'd lay it on to you as a right out of the chute, the newest thing on the agenda. There's another thing that I pick up down there, and it's one that I've sort of held back for quite a while. I've certainly been aware of this. Patients of mine who have come to see me, and when we start talking about fatty acids, we get around to talking about fish oils, and I got a big statement to make with respect to fish oils. I'll hold off just a bit, but, well, you'll see what I mean in just a moment. We do have a knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello, and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Good morning, Dr. Courtney.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, it's me again.
Yeah, I know you.
Hey, a couple weeks ago, you had mentioned to me in passing about possibly trying a supplement called Idebinone.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm having trouble finding it. I found one company, but it's more of a higher milligram, and I'm kind of afraid since it's synthetic to try more than 10 milligrams in the beginning. I guess that's a two-parted question. Why is there only one company that I can find that has it, and why?
Well, because you don't know about it. In other words, everybody knows about CoQ10.
Yeah.
Everybody is on the CoQ10 bandwagon, and as I remember our discussion, it's unfortunately the largest waste financially for a patient because it's the most expensive supplement that there is, and
I understand the CoQ10 bandwagon because it has really helped me with my, diabetic neuropathic.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
Of energy in the tissues and cells, but the Idebinone, I understand. Like when I look on the internet, I mean, it looks like it's been out for 20 years.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Yeah, and it's found in skincare products. Because I was watching one of those lovely shopping channels, and they had a skincare line. And what was the number 2 most powerful antioxidant in the cream was Idebinone. And of course my eyes went straight to it because
we had talked about it.
Yeah. But why is it then that even
because if somebody out there would put it out as a product, it's so little known It never got to play. The CoQ10 did, and nobody would buy it. Now, the product, we have one product in my office that actually has Idebinone in it, and who came up with that? None other than Sir Arnold Takimoto. He manufactures a product where, and by the way, it's pretty good idea on his part, because remember the folks that have heart issues want to get the best kind of squeezing going on, and so there's a product out there called D-ribose. You know about D-ribose, right? You've heard it mentioned before. Okay, and the company that makes the D-ribose is called Corvalin. They have the patent on it. Anytime you find D-ribose in any product, it has to come from this one company. Well, Arnold said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put Corvalin, which is the D-ribose, with the Spark component, which is the CoQ10 component. But that's a bad financial deal, so I'm not going to use CoQ10. I'm going to use Idebinone. So the product actually is well conceived. They bring something to the public that handles the two issues. Provide the sugar that the tissue would prefer to burn as opposed to glucose, which is D-ribose, and particularly the heart. And number two, give the people a deal with the ability to get the spark going by not including CoQ10 because you absorb so little of it, and the cost of the product goes through the roof. No, he puts Idebinone in the product, and so although I don't have Idebinone as a supplement all to itself, the only way I find the Idebinone that ever came to my office was through this product called ATP Option. That's the name of the product. Okay. ATP Option. It's got the D-ribose and the Idebinone. I actually don't know, and I will ask Arnold, by the way, and I speak to him a lot, what companies he may be aware of that actually have the sole product, the unique only Idebinone product, that as opposed to the mixture of the two. Is it possible to get this, and what dose? And by the way, what dose should people be taking? The only conversion I've ever been made aware of is that in terms of the cost of these two, Idebinone versus CoQ10, they literally cost the same in terms of their price, but because you need much less of the Idebinone, it's more economically pleasing because you absorb it all. And the CoQ10, you absorb very little. One little methyl group, one CH3 group is what changes one from another.
Okay. And what brand is that you have from?
The company is that, of course, it's Arnold's company. Bioimmune is his company.
Okay.
The name of the product is ATP Option. It's a combination of Corvalin's D-ribose, and then Arnold put in the Idebinone so that you get both, and it has turned out to be the product that I recommend to all my cardiac patients for sure.
Because Vitamin Research was the other company that makes it. But it's kind of funny when you go on the website to get more information on it. They don't have any information on the product. In other words, they don't list it. But when you call the company itself, then they'll let you know that they have it. So it's almost kind of behind the scenes they have it, but they don't want to make it known.
I don't even know why that would be, that they would want to keep it so secretive. But
maybe because it's a more specialized product.
Maybe they'd rather have you buy the CoQ10. I don't know.
I don't know. But as far as the CoQ10, though, I know in my case, the only one that has ever helped that I've found a noticeable improvement in is the soft gel form.
Oh yeah, you've got to have
that melt in your mouth. Don't do anything for me. They don't do anything. But the soft gel with the soybean lecithin emulsified in it. Oh my gosh! Within 2 hours, I'm like, sweeping the floors.
Oh wow, good for you. So you know.
I don't, I need that energy. I just don't have it being such a long-term diabetic. It's that's one of the worst symptoms I have on the diet.
Well, if you ever do move to a Idebinone product of any form, I'd like to know how you compare it to your CoQ10.
Okay.
You're on a CoQ10 high every day. How moment you take it, you're off to the races. You're cleaning up the storm.
I'm not that bad, but not that good, but it does help just the day-to-day things that I just drag on. And one more thing, I know you used to talk about something called heparin.
Oh yeah.
Can you speak more to that as far as, I think you would speak to it when you had a cardiovascular event. That would be one of the first things that a hospital would administer in the ambulance. But just as an overall thing, is heparin safe to take, and can you take it without an IV?
No, you have to. The heparin does not have an oral form.
Okay.
Heparin must be given by injection. It doesn't have to be IV. It can be intramuscular, but it must be, of course, because I've never seen it in an oral form, and I know there's none on the drawing board. It must be destroyed by stomach acid, and that's the reason why. Heparin. When it comes to anticoagulants, there are two pathways that forms clots. One's called the extrinsic pathway, one's called the intrinsic. And by interrupting any one of these two pathways selectively, you can prevent a clot from forming. If you interrupt the extrinsic pathway, the product you use to interrupt it is called Coumadin, and you're very much aware of Coumadin. You've heard of Coumadin. You know it's that rat poisoning. But if you want to interrupt the intrinsic pathway and get the same result, prevent clots from forming, you utilize heparin. The good news, and the reason why in medicine they would prefer to use the heparin and not the Coumadin, is that the half-life of Coumadin is measured in days. And if you give Coumadin, you get the patient who absolutely can't clot, but if you needed them to clot, you can't get that back until time goes by. You got to give vitamin K to be able to get it back. Heparin actually has half-life measured in minutes, and there actually is a substance called protamine that will allow you to reverse heparin within seconds. So heparin is the drug of choice in medical hands because you can easily get anticoagulation, and if you needed it, recoagulation, literally by using various substances that are available to you. But once you give Coumadin, you're totally screwed until it metabolizes itself, or you can assist it very mildly by taking vitamin K. Did I help you?
And the substance itself, though, is pretty safe.
Yeah. By the way, it is relatively safe, especially in the now the dosages that you can take it in is the key here, because when people get somebody has a pulmonary embolus and they get taken to the hospital, they get put on a drip of 50,000 units of heparin per hour. Okay, because they cannot have these people clot at all. My goodness, I mean, to break up clots. So, but the mild doses that I use even in my office, and I use in my office all the time, is 1,000 units given intravenously. Work just some great things, but it's only 1,000 units, and it's very mild and handled very well by patients.
Oh, you administer it there?
Oh yeah.
Okay, can you do it before or after chelation?
You can do it before or after. How about this? We actually put some in the bag. It's given
at
dirt.
the same time. Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, thank you.
Great questions. Thank you very much. She always has great questions, folks. Hope you're enjoying yourself today. We're here on a weekend, Friday, get them up out of town version of the show where you can knock on the door and we'll let you in the store. We have another knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hi, good morning, Dr. Courtney. How are you?
I'm well. I hope you are too. How can I help you?
Just wanted to pipe in. Caller was speaking about Idebinone.
Okay.
And I just wanted to let her know briefly. I'm driving, but I purchased. My daughter has autism, so I purchased multiple supplements for her. And the Idebinone, although I cannot recall right now how many milligrams it is, can be purchased on the website through a place called Kirkman's Lab. K-I-R-K.
Oh, I'm familiar. Yeah, Kirkman's makes a lot of products for the autistic population.
Yeah. And they do have the Idebinone by itself, although at this moment I can't recall what the milligrams is, but I thought maybe if she's still listening, she could check it out and maybe she can find what she's looking for.
Well, there's my listeners coming in. And by the way, Kirkman's is a fine lab. They make great products. And I know that you use a bunch of them in your particular situation with your child. Glad to hear they make the Idebinone. So does Kathy. She's glad to hear it. Kathy, thanks you.
Have a great weekend, Doctor.
You too. There you go. See what I mean, folks? I don't know. They know. They call it Kirkman's Lab. Kirkman's Lab. Hey, we got another knock on the door. Come on in the store. Hello and welcome aboard. What's on your mind?
Hi. I was
Hi.
listening to your program last week, and you talked about a three-legged stool for cardiac health.
Yeah.
And you talked about nutrition, and I think the second one was exercise, and the third one was perfusion.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't expound on that. I would like to know how one achieves perfusion.
All right. So the three-legged stool that you refer to, by the way, is the treatment triad. And it really is a stool explanation of what I find to be necessary, no matter what the area of the body to be treated. It better have three components to it, or I'm going to question what you're doing. And so the three components are, number one, correct deficiencies, okay? So that means all the supplementation you're needing to provide the right nutrients for that area. You remember that one, right? That leg of the stool. Number two leg is remove toxicities. And you could well understand why if there are, metals or other toxins on board, that it would be to your benefit to remove them from whatever area of the body that you were discussing and needed to correct. The third leg of the stool is the common leg to all treatment too, because you must be able to perfuse that region with an adequate blood supply, which will enable you to complete the other two better than you could ever do without it. Meaning, if you want to take nutrients to an area, you better have an adequate blood flow to that area in order to get the nutrients in. And if you want to get toxic substances out of an area, you better have an adequate return blood flow in order to remove those toxic agents. So if you have a great diet and you take great supplements and you remove toxins and you do cleanses and you do all that, but if you don't take care of perfusion, you have minimized whatever benefit you could have received by the same supplements and toxic removal. Am I made my case? Have I explained this okay for you?
Well, I understand that part. I just don't understand how you go about doing it.
Four ways. There's 4 ways. Another easy list for you, okay? 4 prongs of attack to improve your perfusion. Number 1, correct all inflammation factors. These are inflammation factors in blood vessels, ma'am. And there are now, as of this morning's discussion with you, 10 different blood tests you have to order. Any one of those 10 can cause inflammation of those blood vessels, and that's a fire that has to be put out. So that's step number 1. Step number 2, you must remove plaque, and the way to do it is through a process called chelation therapy. Have you ever heard of it?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so that opens up blood vessels from being occluded.
I have something with that, because I asked a doctor about that, also about testing for heavy metals, and he said that Medicare will not provide payment for tests for heavy metal.
That would be true, except if you had symptoms of a heavy metal toxicity. In other words, if they thought you had lead poisoning, okay?
Or mercury poisoning.
Well, not so much mercury. I'm telling you, now you're getting into rough road. But lead poisoning, there was a period of time when kids ate paint chips and things like that, where lead poisoning was that's a very big consideration with kids who were having real neurological problems. Well, in that setting, they would medicate. Of course, no children were Medicare age, but it would be covered because you had a case that you could make for a particular poisoning. The kind of testing that we're talking about is that any person who just isn't feeling well, or maybe feeling fine, but wants to see if they have any heavy metals on board, that is correct. That is not going to be covered by Medicare.
That was what it was for me.
Yeah, exactly right. And the majority of people, now, other insurance companies do cover it. It's just Medicare flatly does not. But do you know the cost of that test is? I think it's $100.
Okay.
It's not all that great. We do carry the test kits here. There are 2 laboratories in the country that perform that test. One is called Doctor's Data, and Doctor's Data is in Chicago. We, particularly in my case, use that company. But there's one other company called Great Smokies Lab, and it's in North Carolina. These 2 do a fine job. But in order to do that test, you have to give a provocation substance, meaning you give a substance, a chelating substance. Usually I use something called DMSA. And that's a prescription, but that's specific for mercury, by the way.
Yes, I know.
And you give 500 milligrams of that the morning of the test, and then you collect your urine for a full 24 hours. The DMSA will pull mercury from wherever it might be in the body into the bloodstream, and from the bloodstream the kidneys will remove it, and that's why you analyze the urine. So it's a very important test. It has to be provoked. In other words, if you just do urine collection, you wouldn't find it at all because it's still bound up in the tissues. You must give a provocative agent first, DMSA.
I understand it, the urine smells.
It can. It absolutely can. Doesn't have to, but it can. So that was the second. You asked me what to do about perfusion. I said, put out the fires.
Okay.
You have to chelate out the plaque. Number 3, you have to increase flows, and you do so by a procedure we talked about it just at the beginning of the show today called ECP. That stands for ECP. Stands for external counter pulsation. It's a wonderful. Now that is insurance covered. ECP, yes. External counter pulsation. And then finally, the last way you improve perfusion is that you prevent clots from forming, number 1, and number 2, you break the clots up. So the 4th component is clots.
How do you prevent clots from forming?
Well, you put a layer of slime on the platelets. And I guess that the drugs that do it really are in question now. Plavix is one of the common drugs prescribed by the medical doctors to be able to do that. There's also another drug called Perfusion that does the same. And by the way, aspirin works on the same mechanism. It puts a layer of slime over the platelets, and as the platelets move into areas where they're slowed down and have to go through small spaces, they aren't as sticky, and they slide through because they're slippery.
And what is that second one? Other than Plavix.
Oh, those are drugs. We don't want to use drugs. The drugs are Perfusion, Plavix, and aspirin. But we say you do so by using the oils. And up until today, I would have said taking fish oils. I'm not going to say fish oils anymore. You must take the essential fatty acid in the form of oils, and take vitamin E. The form that is the most important to take, I think, is the one that contains gamma tocopherols and the tocotrienols. The old forms of the D-alpha tocopherol aren't helpful much anymore. And then by taking the vitamin E along with the oils, you'll put another layer of slime on the platelets, and you won't need to take any of those drugs. The first drugs I have patients wean off of when I see them in consultation are those common drugs used by the medical profession, which are Perfusion, Plavix, Perfusion?
Yes.
P-E-R-S-A-N-T-I-N-E.
Yes,
okay. So those are the drugs that are easy to get off of. All you need to do is put somebody on the oils and the vitamin E for about a month, and then you can just stop taking the...
Okay, I've been taking tocotrienols and vitamin and the mixed vitamin E.
That's good. You're taking the right form. 800 to 1,200 units a day. Would that be safe to say? 8 to 1,200?
Yes.
Okay. Because the normal recommendation in the medical community is 400. And I say no, 8 or 12. And you'll get a nice layer of slime on those platelets. You'll be able to make them as slippery as Plavix or aspirin could ever do, but you won't have to worry about any nasty side effects as you do have to worry about with all 3 of those drugs, aspirin, Plavix, and Perfusion. And you can just obfuscate that completely. Okay?
Okay.
Any other questions, ma'am? You
prevent formation and make it slippery, and the slippery part is the Aspirin, the vitamin E, and...
No aspirin. Don't want you to take aspirin.
You said that's the old way. What's the new way?
No, I said the...
The old recommendation was fish oil.
Oh, yeah. I'm about to ready to make a statement, and I'll give you a clue. Fish oils, don't take them.
Yeah.
Do not take fish oils. They are harmful to your health. And so...
if the mercury is taken out?
Even if the mercury is taken out, it's the oil itself. I'll be, after I take a break, I'm going to come back and talk about that just a bit, because it's the second blurb I've got to bring to you from Bioimmune, and this is coming straight out of the conventional medical community. Fish oils are harmful, and it's not the mercury component, even though that would be, if you had a form of fish oil where you weren't sure if they had purified it to the point to remove it. But I'm saying the fish oil, forget about the mercury, the oil itself, because of the carbon chain. There are 22 and 24 carbon atoms.
Double bonds.
And with double bond, oh yes, you're doing very well. These, by the way, they have multiple double bonds, and it causes a little curl in the molecule, and that curl is bad. That is a little kink in the phospholipid itself. Anyway.
What about flaxseed oil?
That is an omega-3
yes.
Fatty acid, but and it is very appropriate.
And it's vegetarian. It's non.
It is. That's right. It's plant source as opposed to animal source. That's exactly right. Anything else, ma'am? We're running through the gamut here. Did you have another question?
No, I have that question.
All right. Very good. Did we answer them all for you to your satisfaction?
Okay. Replace the plaque.
Yeah. Put out the fires. Remove the plaque. Increase flows, and then with clots, prevent them from forming.
What about things like, now I can't think of it. Dipeptides, let's see. Enzymes like, systemic enzymes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you need enzymes to break down the foods that you consume, so your supplement better have, there's three foods. There's carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And you better have an amylase, a protease, and a lipase in your supplement to help break down your foods, yes.
Okay, but what about things, there's one other one that I'm taking. I remember you mentioning this quite a while ago. Yeah, I mean, like a month or so ago. And let me go look. It is...
Oh, you take notes while we do the show, huh?
Well, yes, I do.
Oh, very good. That's okay.
Serapeptidase.
Yeah, now that's a proteolytic enzyme,
Mm-hmm.
and you use these enzymes to help in tissue repair. It helps to break down injurious products that accumulate in tissue.
I have not noticed anything since I've been taking it.
Uh-huh.
And it's been a couple months.
Okay, did you have a muscular ache or pain that you were taking it for?
No.
Okay, you were taking it for the heck of it?
No.
What were you taking it for?
I had a stroke.
Oh.
And people are amazed at how well I'm doing.
Hey, well, let's just, you should come on in here. Everything that we talked about with the perfusion, you, as a previous stroke patient, need...
I had a couple strokes.
Well, you need to be pursuing those 4 prongs of attack and that perfusion. That perfusion thing is extremely important for you. I thank you so much for your call today. You sucked all the knowledge out of me. I don't think I have much more to give you.
And I can't think of that other one that I'm taking too. That people do. It's another clot eater.
Well, you made me take a nattokinase.
Nattokinase, yes.
Okay, well, I'm going to do you one better. I've often said, by the way, there are 2 kinases, and they are mild clot busters. They do not require...
It's not like TPA.
Oh, that's right. TPA is a nasty one. That's in a prescription, and that's given in hospital.
They have to give it to you within 3 hours of a stroke.
2 hours. 2 hours of a stroke or a heart attack.
Okay.
And it is it's a wonderful thing that's available if you should be in that situation. But in terms of mild clot busters, the conventional medical community really doesn't have them. We've got 2 great ones, the nattokinase, but I say that there's another one called thrombrokinase.
Thrombro, yes, I remember that.
Yeah, we first introduced it here, and it's a much better clot buster. And I've often commented that I'd like to meet the public relation man who did the nattokinase work, because everybody knows about natto, and nobody seems to know about Lumbro. But I'm here to put the 2 cents in for Lumbro. It's the better nostrum. It's the better way to go. Thank you so much, ma'am. Keep on listening, keep on taking notes, and give us a call back occasionally. Keep us honest. Okay? Oh, okay. Hey, what a conversation. I need to take a shower. Sucked every bit of knowledge out of me. I think I have. Let's take a short break. When we return, more of your calls, if you've got a mind to, 412-825-6262 is that number, 412-825-6262. Be back in a moment. Throw away the fish oils. Throw it away. Not good at all.
AM Impact on Your Health is sponsored by Dennis J. Courtney, M.D., Director of the Courtney Medical Group, located at 3075 Washington Road in McMurray, Pennsylvania. For more information or to make an appointment, call 724-942-3002. That's 724-942-3002 for Dennis J. Courtney, M.D.
KHB reminds you, children are naturally curious, so follow their lead. When you talk to your child, you build vocabulary. Learning starts before school does. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org.
Your body is truly a masterpiece formed from minerals, and it is important to constantly replenish your body with the elements it expends on a daily basis. Chemical and electrical processes are occurring within your body at every moment. Processes that can only function correctly if the proper balance of minerals are continually being supplied to your system. Internet Nutritional's ionically charged essential elements surges with over 70 minerals and trace elements that your body needs for optimal health. Essential Elements Ionic Trace Minerals comes from the Great Salt Lake of Utah, America's largest inland sea that has been collecting and concentrating minerals and trace minerals of the surrounding Rocky Mountains for thousands of years. Because balance to the body is so important, call us now at 1-888-7-VITAMIN. That's 1-888-7-VITAMIN.
At Nature's Way Market, they know that eating the right foods can make a great improvement in your health, especially if you have food allergies. That's why they stock a large selection of food for people with special diets. Whether it's dairy-free, casein-free, or gluten-free, they have many options at Nature's Way Market. If special dietary requirements are new for you, the experienced staff at Nature's Way can be very helpful. You'll be amazed at the variety of choices available to you at Nature's Way Market. Visit them while Pam's cooking every Saturday from 11 to 3, from simple to exotic, and always good for you. Nature's Way Market, corner of Highland and Mount Pleasant in Greensburg. Your complete health food store. Nature's Way, Greensburg. Phone 724-836-3524. That's Nature's Way Market.
Hi, Volga listeners. Frank Wolowski here, inviting you to tune in to my Friday night Volgas on 770 KFB, starting at 5 p.m. till 5.